إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل فقد فاز المتقون وأذكركم ونفسي بقول الله تبارك وتعالى والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With his divine support, we made it into this day, the day in which we have been created, Friday, the beginning and the end of the human race. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the sirat mustaqim, on the straight path, until we meet him. With this surah, Surah Al-Asr, it is about time. It is about our capital. But this year reminded us with 1999, when the Muslim world watched the sunset in the morning. What I mean by that, the sun usually sets in the evening, but when it is too early, the sun set in the morning. In 1999, 13 famous and great and real Muslim scholars died in 1 year. And we know what that means. Inna Allah la yanza'u al-ilma intiza'an yantazi'uhu min al-ibad walakin yanza'u al-ilm biqabdi al-ulama hatta idha lam yabqa 'alimun ittakhadha an-nasu ru'usan juhalan فسئلوا فأفتوا بغير علم فضلوا وأضلوا, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not grasp and take away the knowledge from the people on earth, but he takes the knowledge away by calling back home the scholars. And when they are not around anymore, people will put in leadership leaders who don't know. And these leaders will be asked about Islam, and they will give the fatwa without knowing. So they are misguided, and they also misguide other people. This is the danger of the disappearance of the scholars. This year, I can't count yet, but recently, a sheikh and the scholar, the renowned one, Yusuf al-Qardawi, a Dr. Osama, and more others, they are gone. And we can see the debate in the media, in the Muslim world, as usual. We comment a lot, and we judge a lot, sometimes without knowing. But I will not go into that. I will take us in a very humble way to go and sit in the classroom of Imam Ibn Sirin. This is a man, when he was teaching, and anyone comes to him, if you come to him and talk negative about someone, he will talk positive about the same person. If you mention how bad that person was, he will mention to you how good that person was. As we know, the best among us have a lot of bad deeds we don't know about. And the worst among us has a lot of good deeds we don't know about. Allah knows who is who. Regardless, and without going into the details, we just want to condolence the Muslim Ummah for the departure of a man who Allah allowed to live longer than the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. The Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, أعمار أمتي بين الستين والسبعين وقليل man yujawizu dhalik. The age of my ummah is between 60 to 70, and only few people can go beyond that. Yusuf Qaradawi went beyond that, and he wrote and added into the Muslim library 200 books, and we read it. And every scholar can read about this man, because if you are not a scholar, you don't know who is a scholar. Every speaker becomes a scholar to us because we don't have knowledge yet. A man who lived for 96 years on this earth, and now he is gone. So I want us to listen to Ibn Sirin when he said to that man who came into his classroom and started talking bad about Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. Ibn Sirin, this is a man, when he was dying, he called his wife and his children, and he said to them, "O my children, ittaqullaha wa aslihu dhata baynikum wa ati'u allaha wa rasulahu in kuntum mu'minin." O my children, O my family, fear Allah and set things right among yourselves in accord with Allah's way. I am going to die. I used to supervise you, but now I am going. Don't fight for money. Don't fight for position. Don't fight for dunya, let it go. And fear Allah and set things right and make Islam your reference in your judgment. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Don't follow your desire, your emotions, your anger. Don't follow the society. Follow Allah and His Messenger if you are a believer. If you are a believer. But if you are not, Allah will deal with you. This is a man, his last words to his family. He said to that man who was talking bad about Al-Hajjaj, "Sah, yabna akhi, oh my brother, be quiet. فَإِنَّ الْحَجَّاجِ مَضَى إِلَى رَبِّهِ." Al-Hajjaj went back to his Lord. وَإِنَّكَ حِينَ تُقْدِمُ عَلَى اللَّهِ سَتَجِدُ أَنَّ أَحْقَرَ ذَنْبٍ ارتكبته في حياتك في الدنيا أشد عليك من أكبر ذنب اجترحه الحجاج لكل منكما يومئذ شأن يغنيه. Oh my brother, you know what? Al-Hajjaj is gone, he died. And dead people have no right of self-defense. Shame on you. If you talk bad about him, he is gone. And your words will never change his destiny. It is not about what the people say about you. It is what about you know about yourself. And when you go back to Allah like Al-Hajjaj, one day you will find out that the smallest sin you committed in your life will be the most dangerous on your soul in the day of judgment. Not the worst sin Al-Hajjaj committed. He will deal with it. And then he said to him, "You will be busy with your own sins. Al-Hajjaj will be busy with his own. لِكُلِّ مِنْكُمَا يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ يُغْنِيهِ." Do you remember the Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, the man who lived for 1,000 years calling the people to Allah? And he did everything, and in the process of his dawah, he could not even win his own son on board and his own wife. But he did everything day and night, in public and in privacy. He used everything for Allah. He was all in Allah, all his time, his life, his money, his knowledge, his sacrifice was for Allah. Yet on the day of judgment, mankind will say to him, "Oh no, peace be with you. You are the first messenger to mankind. Talk to Allah to get us out of this situation. We are waiting for 50,000 years without knowing what will happen to us. Talk to Allah just to start the judgment." And Noah alayhi salam, you know what he said? He said, "The sin I have committed is enough for me. I pray to Allah to destroy my people because they didn't listen to me in the classroom. I see that as a sin. I was not patient enough. Find someone else, not me. This is the situation on that day. Nuh alayhi salam. And then Ibn Sirin said to the man that وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَيَقْتَسُ مِنَ الْحَجَّاجِ لِمَنْ ظَلَمَهُمْ كَمَا سَيَقْتَسُ لِلْحَجَّاجِ مِمَّنْ ظَلَمُوهُ. Know that Allah will revenge and bring justice for Al-Hajjaj from those people who did wrong to him. And he will judge him for those people whom he did wrong to. فَلَا تُشْغِلَنَّ نَفْسَكَ بَعْدَ الْيَوْمِ بِسَبِّ أَحَدٍ. Don't ever waste your life from today in talking about how bad other people are. What about yourself? If I want to talk bad about somebody, I know who is that. I am bad enough to talk about myself. So be busy with focusing on your own capital. Now let's go back to the surah that I started with, Surah Al-Asr. One scholar said, I recited this surah for 20 years, and I never knew what it means until one day I saw a man selling ice under the sun. He has no umbrella and he has no freezer either. And his commodity and capital and his business backbone was selling ice under the sun. And he was telling the people, Ayyuhan nas, irhamu man bida'atuhu tadhub. O people, be merciful to someone whose ra'su malihi yadhub, whose capital is melting. All I have to sell is ice. And the quicker you buy it, the more I win. And the less you buy, the more I lose. What he mean by that? Our capital in this dunya is the life Allah gave to us. It is melting, and we have no freezer. We have no umbrella, and the weather is very hot, and it is melting. Every drop of water from the ice will never go back into the ice. Every minute pass of our life, every second, every hour, every day, every week, every year, we are running out of our capital. So now the question, what are we doing with this capital, with our life? What are we doing every day? And this man said, now I understood why Allah made the qasam, he swore, wal asr. The origin of human being is that they are losers. And then he exempted the people who did 4 things. This is telling us life is a test. Life is an exam. The most difficult exam. Many people fail in that exam. Why? Because they try to copy others, not realizing that everybody have a different test. Life is a test, and we need to pass it because we have it once. Every minute is a test, how we pass it. Every hour, every day, every week, every month, and every year. Can we live up to 96 like Yusuf Qardawi? Can we live up to 28 years like Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? Can we live up to 52 years like Imam Bukhari? Count the life of the scholar, very short life but full of barakah, full of barakah. But these 4 people will not be among the losers. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Those people who have Iman, the real one, and real Iman will take the person into good deeds. A real believer will never be lazy. A real believer will never spend a minute wasting the time in something useless, knowing that my capital is melting and the sun is so hot. I need to make sure I have faith, I have Iman. If you don't have Iman, we become liberal. And what is liberal? Imam Shafi'i said, nothing to do with freedom. Freedom is given to us from day when we are born. Allah gave it to us. And Islam declared that 1,400 years ago, when Umar bin Khattab said to the world, Mata sta'abattumun nas, waqat waladathum ummahatuhum ahrara. Since when you enslave people? Well, Allah made them born free from their mothers. Leave people alone. So being liberal, it means a Sudawiya. Imam Shafi'i again said, I didn't know any scholar who disagree with that. The meaning of Sudawiya means alladhi la yu'maru wa la yunha. Someone who is telling you, don't tell me what is halal, what is haram. Don't tell me what I can and what I cannot do. They are liberal. They don't believe in religion. They don't believe in akhlaq, morality, values. They believe in my desire is my reference for my life. And they end up saying they don't believe in God. They become atheists. Why? Because they don't want to be told what to do. So the only way not to be among the losers is to make sure we are among the believers. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ كَانَتْ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ الْفِرْدَوْسِ نُزُلًا. Being among the believers, we guarantee Jannah. Not only Jannah al-Firdaus, but what type of iman? The iman that will make us go into action. A true believer will never be lazy. Or very active, but not good deeds. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and do good deeds. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and commend one another. Remind one another to be truthful in every step of our life. Be truthful in being a father, being a mother. Be truthful in being a teacher, being imam, being ma'mum, being a husband, being a wife. But we can never be truthful if we don't use the Quran and the Hadith, our reference in our dispute. That means we are not truthful. We have betrayed Allah, we have betrayed the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and we have betrayed one another. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And be very patient, because we will be tested, and we know it. And this so-called your life, it is your road, only yours. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. Allah gave all of us one life to live. We can waste our time blaming our parents, blaming the society, blaming the environment, blaming the time, but we never waste our time blaming ourselves. Everybody can do it, why not? So let us be truthful to our life, to our time, because it is today or tomorrow and we are gone. Yusuf Qaradawi in 1979, he led the Janaza prayer when Abu al-A'la al-Mawdudi died. The biggest Muslim scholar, the century witness, Yusuf Qaradawi in 1979 led the Salat al-Jama'ah. And he led millions. I wonder when I die, how many of you will say, Brother Adam, with me going to follow his janaza, we need this. And there's nothing better than when we die and we realize how much the Ummah love you. They turn in the most truthful moment. When we die, people become very truthful. They will witness for us or against us. They will turn up to follow our janaza. We can see that witness in many ulama's life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire all the people who knew me and you, wherever we live, to follow our janaza, because it is a good sign. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم وجعلنا وإياكم من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Dear believer, to summarize, we make sure we live up to what Imam al-Shafi'i again said. لا ينبغي لرجل أن يسكن إلا في بلد فيه طبيب وعالم. طبيب ينبئه عن أمر بدنه وعالم ينبئه عن أمر دينه. A wise person should never live in a town unless you guarantee two people are there. A physical doctor and a spiritual doctor. A doctor and a scholar. The doctor will inform you what is wrong with your body, and the alim will inform you what is wrong with your soul. We need these two. Without them, لولا العلماء لكان الناس مثل البهائم. If not because of the presence of the scholars among us, we will live the way animals do. Liberal, no more laws, no halal and haram. We even change our gender, I'm free. And we forget that is hell. Allah said, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. A man can never do the mission of a woman, and a woman can never do the mission of a man. Allah knows. No wonder why Hannah complained, oh Allah, I wanted a boy to be in the temple, but now you gave me a girl. Anyway, this is a long story to go. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the sirat al-mustaqim until we meet him the way the good servants of Allah did. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. وأقم الصلاة. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.